Andale.
Beefs, what's the chef? Did I get that right, Cam?
Yeah, pal, I think you did. Spot on. Spot on.
Yeah, I love it. It must be episode 20, the fucking takeover. Let's go, champs.
Fucking come on. Getting round.
POBG here, coming at you fresh off the new PB on the 5K park run on Saturday.
You.
What's the story with you?
Fucking looking, I did. Trying to think, like, what do we actually look like here? Like, what do we actually look like? Like, you
look like fucking ballers.
You look like my grandmother, pal.
Yeah, say your grandmother's a fucking
I
dampio.
look like a fucking, like if Spider-Man had some shit older brother or something, and he was a bit jealous of Spider-Man, and he kind of just got a bit of a cool t-shirt and a fucking pair of sunglasses off some Asian lad around the corner off a fucking stall. This is probably what he'd be going for. Yeah.
Good. I'm just glad I called somebody twice the size of me, called their nanny a dampio and got away with it. So,
good man. You're looking well.
Nice one. Same yourself, yeah.
Good luck for you. Gender fluid.
Of course, transgender fluid. That's how I roll.
Non-binary, plant human.
Yeah, I can be any gender in the universe at any given time. That's how I roll.
He's a real fox kin. Do you ever see people some lad Clay? What the fuck are you on about, man? Fox kin. He's of the fox species. He's of that.
He's a furry. That's a fancy way of saying he's a furry.
He's a what the fuck? What's a furry?
Furry.
He's always a furry. He's something
furry, yeah.
That has fur on him. Sorry, you were getting a bit.
No.
Me there.
No. Furry is somebody who identifies as a forest animal and gets off on it.
What?
This is a real thing.
Say that again. Glasses on.
Can you Google it there while you're on it? What is a furry? You don't even have to go to Urban Dictionary. Just go, what's a furry, and then Google image.
How do you spell that?
Furry. What is a furry?
What?
Let me check this out, Cameron.
What is a furry? Yeah, if you haven't noticed there, folks, this is a fucking special episode.
Yeah. Every 10th.
Creatures with... Oh, here we go. Fucking...
Here we go.
Mother of fuck. Furry fandom.
Yeah, baby. Yeah, baby.
Will I get pulled off the internet for screen sharing this?
No.
Check this shit out.
Let's go.
So, furry, dictionary. Adjective covered with fur. There you got. An enthusiast for animal characters with human characteristics. In particular, a person who dresses up in costume as such a character or uses one as an avatar online. Furry fandom. Look at these fucking babies. Mother of fucking Christ. Get it. Fucking.
This is a whole community all over the world.
This is the shit that you're into, pal. Like, that's someone's kid.
There's this guy in America, right? And I heard on another podcast where this guy was like, no, he identifies as a cat and he shits in a litter box in the corner of his office.
Nah, beat him. Check that lad probably looks at them and goes, they're oh jeez, they're very attractive, aren't they? They're very good looking. Licking his.
That's what the app TikTok is full of.
The app the what?
TikTok. Are you 90? Oh my God.
Fucking, you're about 12 years, 10 years older than me or something. Fuck, 10 years older.
Yeah, and I know about furries and TikTok and you don't.
Fucking, what the fuck is a TikTok?
TikTok is it's an app, right? It's like you make video clips and upload them, and then other people can add on to them or take away from them. Well, not take away, but they can edit them or add their own thing. They can get, if you make a video, right? If you're doing anything, they can split screen it and have them on the other side, and then they can interact with it.
Okay.
But it got taken over. It started off, it was just this weird place where furries and pedophiles hung out. Then the game, then the gamers and the Fortnite people got into it, right? So you'd have somebody making a serious video, you know, about something or other, about like there's one where there's a trans person going on about, you know, how about you stop slut shaming me, because this is a real thing and people die all the time. You know how many people kill themselves? And it's split screen by 4 people, and they're all just Fortnite dancers going like this, and she's doing. Oh, it's lethal.
Oh man,
Whoa.
you're down there, pal. Yo,
Here we go, live from Australia.
Ew, he's upside down.
Go.
Are you tripping? Are you getting visuals, man? Yeah.
Here, give over.
What are you? That's what you get for fucking bringing up. You have your
Introducing you to furries, right? I'm not doing the Q&A.
Yeah,
upside down.
Yeah, your wit's a bit fucked, but we'll take it. There we go. Don't touch it.
We're back. Now, Cam.
Let's get
episode 20. I have a few questions for you.
Hit me.
Right? And the first one is sent in from Mr. Al Spearin, aka the Big Red Machine. All right? And he was asking, at what point in training is it right, if at all, to start supplements? Is it a case of, right, I've come as far as I can now with just food and water alone? Or is it time to push the book out, or are there other factors you have to think about first?
Depends on what supplements you mean. Do you know what I mean? Like, to be brutally honest with you,
I think creatine was the main one that he means.
That he means, yeah. Good question then in that case. Like, creatine has a lot of, if you're serious about your training, like, creatine does help, you know? And a lot of the controversy around creatine is bollocks, you know? Obviously, when creatine...
Water retention or something, where it makes you fat or something, or...
There's a thing there's a thing with creatine in the 90s, right? Where it had come out as a supplement and it was instantly demonized as like steroids, basically. It was put in the same category, which it's not even in the same stratosphere as fucking steroids. Why? Because 3 high school wrestlers, for anyone that doesn't know, like freestyle fucking high school wrestling that you see in the Olympics, it's fucking intense. And there's weight classes every like 5 to 10. There's weight classes every 2 kilos. So high school kids will cut a gigantic amount of weight to make their fucking weight class for wrestling, right? These 3 guys, it was 1996, I believe, maybe 98. Creatine had just come out as a supplement. These guys were taking it and they were cutting weight. Now, they were cutting weight, they were wrapping themselves in bin bags, and they were getting in the sauna and fucking doing full-blown training sessions, you know, whilst being massively dehydrated, and they dropped dead of a heart attack, or 2 of them had dropped dead of a heart attack. And when they found the creatine in their system, they blamed it on the creatine, which was totally false. Like, it might have had a fucking 0.1 or a 1% chance of causing, do you know what I mean? Because it would kind of suck up a bit more of the sodium, and it would basically fucking change the hydration levels within your muscles. And it was demonized.
Was the hydration that gave them the heart attack?
The lack of hydration and the lack of their body. Yeah, so the heart just fucking couldn't hack it and couldn't operate. It ended up having a heart attack. That was what I can remember from reading that, and that was the start of demonizing it. So for a lot of people, they think creatine is this bad thing, which it's not. It's actually got a massive amount of benefits. There's a lot of cognitive benefits to creatine, but more specifically in what it's used for, there's a lot of physical benefits as well. So what creatine does is basically we use, to dive a little bit deeper, like our bodies produce creatine naturally. Our muscles, we have an energy system, right? And when me and you have to like sprint, if you had to sprint for the bus, right? Or you had to fucking flip if your car was burning and your kid was fucking lying on the ground and you had to fucking flip a car, you would have to use something called your creatine phosphate system. Basically, your muscles, for a really powerful fucking production of force, would have to go tap into your creatine stores. You can only use the creatine stores for 5 to 10 seconds. So they get depleted. So for any high powerful, max strength kind of lifting or event or fucking sport, taking a creatine supplement increases the amount of the stores you can tap into within your muscle. So it's like if I'm for powerlifting, like when I was doing heavy sets, let's say I would take like 130 kilos out and I would rep it out for fucking 3 to 5 reps. Now when I'm taking creatine for a couple of weeks and I've saturated my muscles with it, Now I can fucking rep out 134, like 7 to 8 reps instead of 3 to 5. It's not necessarily making me stronger. It's increasing my potential to be stronger because I can do more work, you know, like, and I can do probably more sets than I normally would without it. So it's not a magic pill or a potion, but it's definitely effective. And I think, to answer Al's question, once you get serious about lifting, it's a good thing to do. It's helpful. It's not essential, but it's a helpful thing. If you're training hard and you want that extra fucking last squeeze at the end of your sets, it'll allow you to do a little bit more work at a higher intensity. Does that make sense?
Well, look, there is the next question kind of leads into that. It's how often should, on a kind of segues, how often should a chef fit athlete, no?
Yeah.
A member of chef fit go for a PB when we're lifting weights?
I would say,
because our workout plans are kind of guided towards that, because we build up and down through the weights in one superset. You know what I mean? So it feels like we could maybe go for more, but I don't know what is more.
It depends. This is kind of a multifaceted question. If you were a power lifter and I was coaching you, I would say every 16 to 20 weeks, you should be shooting for a PB. And that's how I used to train myself. But that depends on the level. When you're somewhat beginner, like in your first 2 to 3 years of lifting weights, like you're technically, like, you're beginner to intermediate in terms of, like, you can get very proficient in that time, and you can get much fitter than you were before. But, like, technically, in terms of lifter, you're still quite young in your training age. So when you're quite young in your training age, you can get stronger much quicker than someone who's more advanced. You know what I mean? Like, you're far more sensitive to stimulus. Like, for me, I have to if I was the PB, I'd need to fucking train I'd have to be very, very, very laser focused on what I'm doing, you know, nearly down to like how many reps I'm fucking doing on one exercise in 1 week. You know, it's a lot more that thinking that goes into it. For you guys, a chef fit, I like to test every 4 to 8 weeks. Technically, if we were taking recovery into it, it would probably be 8 weeks. But the reason that I make it I give you an opportunity to test. You don't have to do it, but I would give you I give you a test week, because it's like, okay, cool. Well, we've trained hard for 3 to 4 weeks. Now we're going to put that into practice and see where we get to. So the reason I do that, like, some strength and conditioning coaches probably go, "Ooh, that's too soon." And it's like, no, it's context. It's context. You've got guys who are fairly new to lifting and a lot of the big techniques that they're learning, and it's uncharted territory. And it's really important for them to see the progression, to see the fucking, 4 weeks ago, man, I couldn't fucking do this. Now I've added 5 kilos to my bench press, or whatever it is. That's important. The other thing is about consistency. Like, if I was an athlete, a pure athlete, when I was getting coached myself, but I was getting like one-on-one coaching by myself, and I trained alone. I didn't train with anyone. All I thought about was lifting. Like, I fucking slept, ate, and fucking shit powerlifting. So for me, I had the patience to wait 16 to 20 weeks to put fucking 2.5 kilos on my squat.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? That's a long fucking time. That's a long.
So if you hit that, right? So before that, your PB, which was 12, 16 weeks before that.
Yep.
So you hit that, and then you drop down, depending on what age, you drop right down by 20, 30 kilos. And then that's your workout routine for the next few weeks before you start to ramp it up.
Yeah, it's like this fucking graph that starts like, this is like the amount of train. Not like, think about the intensity you're training. Like, maybe you start off like with you guys, it's like we go from doing high reps. So you're talking like, okay, cool, we'll do like 8 to 12, 12 to 15 reps, you know, on all our movements. And then things will get heavier. And now we'll start doing 6 to 8 reps. Then we're doing 3 to 5 reps, and then we test. And once you test, you drop it right back down, and you've raised the bar forward now. Do you know what I mean? So now the weights that you were using on your 12 to 15 reps are higher over here, because you fucking already tested it and you've improved. So you're just moving the goalposts forward every 4 to 6 weeks. you're
Yeah.
setting a higher standard for yourself, you know, and you figure that out.
You've worked that into our workout plans.
Big time, big time. But there's also a mixture of stuff. Like there's stuff that I do that wouldn't necessarily be by the book, but I understand that it needs to happen within ChefFit. I think it's important that you guys get perspective. And so the other thing is true. If you go to test something and you've gotten weaker, it's like, chap, get your fucking finger out of your hole. You know, it gives you that the reality, which is important, absolutely important. So yeah, testing, like for newbies, 4 to 6 weeks. If you get really advanced, you're going to have to put a longer period of time and more focus into getting stronger. So that would probably be like 12 weeks, and then really, really advanced elite athletes, 16 to 20 weeks, you know. And that's how your plans should work. And
spot on.
yeah, exactly. And then you go, in terms of your training, like if you want to get stronger, cool. Spend weeks building muscle with 12 to 15 reps, 8 to 12 reps, all of that. Building that muscle, building that capacity so you can fucking recover in between your sets. And then over time, start fucking getting heavier and heavier, dropping your reps down. And then eventually you've gotten very specific and then you test. That's the cycle that you go through. And then the next time you come around to those high reps, boom, you're already stronger and you've moved the goal forward. Yeah.
Excellent. Nice one.
Cool.
Right. So, Cam,
Yo.
You place a lot of emphasis on creating space.
Yep.
Is this unique for us in ChefFit, or did you have that? Did you work with that when you were PT civilians?
Nope. New for ChefFit.
That's just us, yeah.
My mentor.
Because from the very, very start, it was there with us.
Yeah. So when I started ChefFit, like obviously, as I said, told you before, I still do have a mentor, Lynn Trin, and you run something called the 1%. And Lynn is like a very, very, very high level businessman who was a professional bodybuilder, not a professional, he was a competitive bodybuilder, a fucking very good personal trainer, owned a couple of gyms. And now I sought his help with how do I get this movement online? Like what do I need to fucking do? You know, and gave me the direction that I needed to push the thing in, because I had this idea and I knew how to train and I knew all of these things and I knew how to coach people and be real and I knew how to lead, but structuring it and going, right, this is the shit that we need to be doing. So regardless of what I told you guys, this is how he told me. And he's like, listen, man, it's like you're your own worst enemy, or you could be your best friend. And you need to control what frame of mind you're in on a daily basis. That's the idea of what creating space is about. Like we can choose to see negative in life, or we could choose to see positive in life. That's why I get you to move every day. That's why I get you to do something every day. Because if I make an effort first thing to shift my perspective to a positive, for example, I wake up, I do my meditation for 5 minutes, I go to the gym and I train. When I come back, I'm a fucking new man than the one I woke up at. Do you know what I mean? It's like I've woken up, taken myself from being tired, lethargic, and fucking negative, it's the morning, I'm not a morning person, to fucking, Jesus, I feel fantastic, I'm finished training, I'm fucking energized, I'm feeling good. That's how I attack my day. So creating space is basically whatever you have to do to create space, but it's creating space from your own mind. It's like creating a frame around you, a bulletproof frame, where we wake up and we're triggered instantaneously. Human beings are, especially with phones. The worst thing you can do is wake up and the first thing you do is open your phone and start looking at fucking notifications. It's the worst thing you can fucking possibly do. And my thing is, I make a concentrated effort to create my own create the space away from that. Like this is me focusing on getting my mind right, getting me into a good place, so that when I go to go about my day, now everything is coming from that positive place. And I think for a lot of guys and a lot of humans in general, we're trapped in that. And I think a lot of chefs are highly fucking negative. They're seriously fucking negative, very negative. So
the very simple idea of just creating space. Chefs could go years without doing something for themselves every day.
Totally. It's literally creating that space, that positive space for you, so the rest of your day is not a fucking shit show and life does not drag you down. Think about it. Go for a fucking 5K run and tell me how you feel coming back. You probably feel fucking fantastic. Why don't you think about that feeling that you get after you finish a 5K run, or that feeling that you get after you finish a session? Bottle that. That's the end goal of creating space. Some people get it from exercise. Some people get it from meditation, whatever. For me, it's exercise. You have to change your physiology. Physiology is our physical makeup. It's like you have to get that. You have to change your physiology to change your psychology. Whereas a lot of people don't understand that. Tony Robbins is a motivational speaker. He's a fucking very famous motivational speaker. He speaks about this, and it's like, people are like, I just can't get motivated. I just can't get anything done. And I'm always making excuses and I'm procrastinating and whatever. And he's like, here's my advice. Change your fucking physiology. It's like, get up and fucking open up and get moving. Get something done, you know? And that the chain reaction of moving and fucking doing something that changes.
For you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it has an impact on the rest of your life. So meditation could do that for calming your mind down. Running or going to the gym could fucking do the same thing, changing you physically and just getting that release of feel-good hormones. Even writing down things that you're fucking grateful for and writing down your intentions for the day and all of these things. I would consider all of that like creating space, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
When you do it, your day takes a different fold. But if you're not doing that, like, it's no mystery to me why your life is not going the way you want it to go. That simple, you know? So create space on a daily basis. That's the idea behind I actually have gone away from creating space to move every day because I think that's more applicable to chefs.
Yeah.
If some guys need to meditate, I'll tell them to meditate. But like for the most part, you need to move and move every single day. So you're doing something to create that space for yourself and shift yourself into a positive.
If I don't move on Sunday, Monday is fucking death for me.
Yeah.
Swear to God.
Yeah, big time.
Then Saturday morning when I do my park run, it's a test because I'm always going for a personal best on it.
Yeah.
And it takes a lot out of me legs. And if I don't move on Sunday, like if I don't walk for an hour or go for a long walk or get on the bike, like Sunday just gone, I had to jump on the bike and just go up and down, turn your image around Tala, back down and back in again, just to get the legs spinning because I would have been broken up yesterday.
Big time. Yep, exactly.
And especially with that motherfucker of a workout you gave us yesterday.
Fucked you up, bro.
Oh, man.
Yeah, that's how we
battered a lot of us.
Yeah, absolutely smashes the pieces. Create a bit of space, folks. That's key. You know.
Now, just a quick one sent in from Limo Kernan. He was looking for advice on healthy carbs. First, he was asked, like, we were kind of in discussion about are carbs bad, but not on the whole. We touched on that in episode 10. Mm-hmm. But he was looking for. I'm sure he's spoken to you about it. Not healthier ways for him to get more carbs into him. But not in a bulking way, just more calorific, healthy stuff for him.
Yeah.
For him specifically, he was using that as a general question. You know what I mean?
Yeah. With carbs, it's like, listen. First off, are carbs bad for you? It's a ridiculous question in the first place because, like, I can give you a fucking hammer, and as I said before, you can go out and you can murder someone's fucking grandmother with that hammer, or you can get in a flight to Ghana and you can go and build fucking houses for. You know, it's the fucking hammer that you're using. Same thing with carbs. Too much of anything is a fucking bad thing. You know, at just right amount, it's the Goldilocks principle. Just right. Now, carbs come in different forms, different shapes and sizes. Like this whole argument of carbs bad. I would argue that refined carbohydrates are, well, I don't need to argue. Refined carbohydrates are not good for you. You know what I mean? Obviously, all carbohydrates are sugar, but sugar can be complex or it can be simple. Complex.
So when you say refined carbohydrates, you mean pasta, bread?
Pasta, bread, even sweets and chocolate and shit like that. You know what I mean? Yeah, our body doesn't really process like the saccharide that's in it. That's the sugar molecule and how they're structured. Like it doesn't really digest. It doesn't deal with it well, if that makes sense. So like your digest. If I eat a fuckload of bread or I eat a fucking, you know, if I make some spaghetti Alfredo or something delicious, absolutely delicious, but I'm fucked after that, man. Fuck me, or a load of spag ball and some fucking garlic bread. Powerful stuff, but you'd be fucked afterwards and probably farting like a fucking lunatic. Why?
Yeah, you want to earn that shit.
Yeah, big time, man, big time. But that's your stomach is under pressure, your digestive system is under pressure there. Your body doesn't deal with it well. So
Mm,
think about when your digestion is like that. The majority of people, when they feel tired and lethargic, it's usually a lot of the time it's their food choices. You know, like Liam was a good example. Liam lived off fucking chocolate bars and crisps and jellies in work.
mm,
His
yeah,
energy was fucked. Why? Because he's getting this refined sugar that his body doesn't really know how to deal with. It's giving him this surge of energy really quick, and then he's crashing massively. So it's like you're getting this shitty form of sugar into you that's really simple. So it gets into your bloodstream real quick. You get the fucking sugar rush, and then you're fucked. And you get more of it into you, rush, you're fucked. So you're up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. That's not a good thing. I also feel that bread and pasta can slow you down because your digestive system has to work overtime. So therefore, your body gets into rest and digest mode, and you don't feel good about yourself unless you're lying on the
yeah.
couch. So in terms of carb sources, are carbs bad? No, it's the ones that you select, the time and the place. Like, obviously, I get you guys to focus on potatoes, rice, and grains. Couscous, quinoa, all of that shit. That's the best fucking forms you can get. Sweet potatoes as well. Like any kind of potato is always going to be excellent. Now, that's what the majority of your meal. If you want to fucking bulk up and you want to add a bit more, it's like you can have bigger portions. The other thing that I would have, if like you're having big portions of carbs anyway and you're looking to bulk up, which Liam is, your shakes, you need to be loading up on oats. That's a really easy form of getting more into you. You know, like porridge oats are actually quite calorific. They are quite calorific. So if you're
Yeah,
looking,
man, I cut out the porridge. Remember, I said to you I was going to shed a bit of weight this week and next week.
yeah,
I knocked the porridge out,
yeah,
and it's been going great. I've just having a piece of fruit and some couscous in the morning.
yeah, there you go.
Whopper,
Yeah,
whopper. It feels
100%.
great.
Yeah,
Even though like being on the porridge for 6-7 months also felt great. Like energy wise, I'm a different person now anyway. So I have got my energy throughout the day. I'm a more energetic person in general. But
yeah,
the porridge had got me into that mood of waking up and being on it. You know what I mean?
totally.
But then since I cut it out this week and next week, I'm not going back to having
Yeah.
porridge 4 days a week. I'm gonna have it on the Saturday mornings and maybe Monday morning. That's it.
Yeah, like that was I found myself doing that as well. I used to have a lot of porridge in the mornings. I ended up actually cutting it out, to be honest. I just don't.
That's when I cut it out. When you did it as well.
Yeah, exactly. If obviously I think that a leaner breakfast is the way to go if you're looking to cut down. Like getting back to quickly finish off this Liam question, and I'll get into what you're talking about there. Like
Mm.
Liam stuff, you need to bolster up like if you're having, I have Liam on 2 liquid meals a day on top of his 3 meals because he's looking to bulk up. Like if you want to fucking get big, you need
He has a nuclear fucking stamina, and
yeah.
the way he
Also,
burns the calories is unreal.
I don't know how he keeps losing weight because he must be burning fucking insane amounts of calories. So like Liam needs to be on 2 shakes on top of big fucking portions at his meals. Like either he's having 4 meals and a shake or he's having 3 meals and 2 fucking shakes. And those shakes are like, fruit, fuckload of oats, peanut butter, protein powder, bit of yogurt, you know what I mean? Like spinach, that's a fucking meal in and of itself. You want to bolster that up, fats through your peanut butters. Even if you're having greens with your meals, it's like olive oil on your salad, just to add more calories to it. And then obviously bolster the carbohydrates. I think oats are a really, really easy source to fucking bulk up a lot of things. Oats and peanut butter, fucking piece of
Mm.
piss. You know what I mean? You can
Yeah,
just
yeah.
add it, blend it, boom, Bob's your uncle. To get back to what you're saying there about the porridge thing, like, yeah, for the majority of people, like porridge is obviously, I like a bowl of porridge, but I think people kind of put it on a pedestal as the king of fucking, like the king of breakfast, which it's like, it's not really, like, let's be real. It's a good source of carbohydrate, but like a lot of people, it's porridge and milk in the morning. It's like, it's not really a massive amount of nutritional content there. It's like milk isn't really great for a lot of people because it's dairy. I can't, like, I've drank milk my whole life, but I don't really drink it anymore. I have it in my coffee, but I don't drink it anymore because I know my skin goes fucked, and a lot of people can't deal with the lactose. And then the porridge itself, it's like, it's what you add to the porridge that makes it really good. So if you have berries, mixed seeds, maybe a bit of protein on the side, or a fucking small bit of nut butter that's like really good quality nut butter, now you've got a different story. Now it's very nutritious and it's very fucking good for you. But Porridge is what you make of it. I wouldn't recommend having it every day. Obviously, for chefs, if you're in fucking rag order, you don't eat breakfast ever, you know what I mean? And you have no structure around your nutrition, I would go to porridge because it's a good, simple choice that's familiar to you. But over time, as you said, like Peter did, like he's been doing it for 6 or 7 months now consistently, or fucking probably longer than that, really.
Longer than that, yeah. It's actually
10 or 11, nearly a year. So, yeah, about a year. So if he's been doing that over for a year, it's like, cool. Well, now you get to a point where you also cycle things in and out, you know. Some weeks I'll go bacon, eggs, and spinach. Some days I might have to get a bit of fucking salmon, you know. Someday you might have to change something out and alternate it out. I think a leaner breakfast is better, you know.
Yeah.
To be honest. I think I just react better to it when I have a lighter breakfast. I have more energy sustained throughout the day.
I was eating cold couscous for my breakfast the other day, and the chef was like, "The fuck are you even doing, pal?"
Where is he at?
Yeah, you eat fucking couscous for breakfast. You're the bleeding spa. I was like, I'm starving.
Fucking quiche or something later on that day.
Oh man, I have another question from the big red machine.
Nope.
So he was saying, if you didn't take the jump, right, if you didn't pull the trigger, hashtag last week, if you didn't pull the trigger for Chef Fit, would you still be PTing or would you have gone in a different direction? We're kind of asking this because, you know, you were still PTing when Chef Fit started, but you always, from day one of Chef Fit, you were getting out of the PT game as it was. Had that been building up for a while?
Yeah. Didn't like.
And what would you have done if you hadn't started Chef Fit? Where do you think you'd be?
I think I got a bit disillusioned with the fitness industry, to be honest. I think I got a bit disillusioned with it. I'd always dreamt of having I suppose it's the direction and the choices that you make. Like even personal training in the first place for me, like I had always wanted to be a strength and conditioning coach. Like I had always wanted, my dream was to coach athletes. My dream was
it the kind of a, like, you know, work at the thing that you love?
Yeah, big time
situation. Yeah. You know, you've always been big, you've always been athletic.
Yeah, so it's like from sports to obviously like from an early age, like when I was in fucking fourth year in school, I went and did work experience with Leinster Rugby Academy. Like that's the professional team, like, you know what I mean? And I'd be fucking with those guys in the gym looking at what they were doing. My sister's boyfriend at the time, Jay, was on the bench for Leinster's actual team when they were winning the Heineken Cup and stuff. So like that was, for me, that was like a fucking, oh, fuck. And then I started playing underage rugby for Leinster. So I had a good few caps for them at 19s and 20s level. And that was kind of the spark for me to go, I want to be training athletes. This is the environment that I want to work in. When I had to retire from rugby, obviously, things took a slightly different twist where I got into powerlifting and I started getting into lifting. And I still wanted to pursue the strength and conditioning thing, but I dropped out of college. I did business. I dropped out. I fucking, you know, I was working in the service industry. If you want to train athletes, you need a fucking degree or a master's. And I wasn't like, do I really want to go back to college for fucking 4 years? Like, you know, it's just I've never been, not that I'm unintelligent, but I've never been someone who really cares for academic. Like, I'm not an academic person. I'd rather go learn something myself and go and fucking, you know, do what I have to do. So that's the path I took. So with personal training, at the time, it was like, I really want to fucking do this. I love training people and I love coaching. But when I got into it, maybe the industry turned out to be something like, obviously, like a lot of chefs get into cooking, being a chef because they love cooking, but you don't love what comes with the fucking cooking. It was a very similar thing with me where it's like start in work for fucking 6:30 in the morning to train clients with a fucking smile on my face, you know. Doing that, like there was some days I'd come in, I think one day I had 15 sessions in a day, 15 1 hour PT sessions in one day, you know, with a 1 hour break in the middle so I could take a fucking piss basically and get a coffee. So like that's 15 individual coach sessions. You just get very close to burnout. I got to a point where it was fine. Like the guy I worked in the gym with, he was a nice guy. I got on well with him. But I didn't like the setup. I kind of thought about like I was going to open a gym, and then I thought about how much money I was going to have to save to open the gym, and I looked at that ahead. And I was like, fuck. You know, I got to a point where I got a bit disillusioned with everything. And I was like, oh, what, like
Yeah.
this isn't what I thought this was going to be like, you know, and I had a couple of options on not that I had a couple of options, but for me, I'm not someone who dwells in something for very long. Like I make a decision, I make it quickly and I fucking go, you know, and I just do it. So for me, when I met my mentor, I was running Chef Fit in person. Like I was running it in person. I was coaching fucking 4 chefs 3 times a week in the morning, and I'd run I'd run it was an 8-week program, and I ran it the first time, and it was a massive success. The 4 chefs I had were like, they were fucking world of difference, and I was like, fucking hell, that was mental. And I really enjoyed coaching them. Like I really enjoyed coaching them. Obviously, my background in service and helping my brother up to that point had led me to start the idea. But I was coaching those people and I was PTing them and I was loving it because I was training a lot of corporate people. I've trained everyone. Like I've trained fucking like autistic Special Olympian gold medalists for judo. I've trained fucking, you know, someone with fucking no foot. I've trained, you know, I trained athletes. I've trained full fucking rugby teams. I've trained grannies. I've trained fucking men. I've trained women. I've trained everyone, you know, every shape and size. And I really enjoyed the chef because the chefs were similar to me in my frame of mind and my humor. I was quite dark. I was quite fucking, you know,
I was just gonna say, well, are you also a sick cunt?
yeah, it's like I'm a bit of a fucking lunatic, you know what I mean? And I find with the PT thing, I was almost having to put on a mask, which is exhausting to train someone. How was your day today? Yeah. When you're just like, did you follow your meal plan? No, you didn't. Okay, cool. You know, it's like they're just training weak-minded people who didn't, they were just babies with loads of money. Do you know what I mean? They were people who fucking, like I used to fucking, PT, I was charging retarded amounts of money for delivering fuck all to these people in the training sessions. Very good. Outside of that, fuck all going on. Do you know what I mean? They didn't do fuck all. They didn't take ownership. They didn't do any of that. And really, it just wasn't what I like doing. It's like, this is not what I got. I did not come in here to babysit the fucking head of some fucking real estate company for an hour, you know, and fucking hear the problems that he's got with his wife. I don't give a fuck, you know. His life's fine. Fuck off. So when I was training the chefs, though, it was different. And there was a fucking banter there. I really enjoyed it. And I could see the instant fucking change in their life. On top of 2 of the Dans that I'd personal trained as well, who were mates of mine, I saw them transform their life. And that just got me thinking about the bigger picture of what Chef Fit should be and what it is and the power that this thing could have. Because I realized that chefs are fucked, you know? And I suppose it was just right place, right time. I was at a point where I wanted to fucking get the fuck out of where I was working. I was training chefs at the time, and then I met my mentor who showed me how to fucking build an online fucking business. So I was like, cool, I got Chef Fit. I love that. I know how to do things online now. Why the fuck don't I just do Chef Fit online? And that's what happened, you know, and that led me to this point. And obviously here we are a year later. I can remember the fucking phone call. You know, I can actually remember the phone call to Ella, my girlfriend. I remember speaking to her on the phone and I go, listen, I'm fucking doing it. I rang her before I had the application call. I had a call very similar to you guys did with me. My mentor got me on the phone and he's like, what's your issue? And he was, I fucking explained everything. This is the problem that I'm having. This is what I want to do, all these things. And he basically said, right, bro, like fucking, this is 1%. Come on, let's do it. And we finished that call. I made the commitment and I rang Ella and I said, I'm running Chef Fit online. That's what I'm doing now. So make it happen. And I want to be out of PT in fucking whatever amount of months. So obviously financially, I wasn't able to do that for about 5 or 6 months until we got Chef Fit to a certain point where it was a product and it was polished and it was, the group was running and guys were fucking doing well, you know, and I was happy with it. And then I just had to grab myself by the bollocks and fucking do the thing, you know. And luckily it's come off and it's been a fucking fledgling success, and it's been far more, it means way more to me than anything I've ever done in my life, you know. It really does.
Is it going in the direction that you thought it was going to go in?
Yeah, totally.
Brilliant.
I see, to be honest, where I see the end result of Chef Fit though is I see it as probably being something worldwide. So I'm yet to figure out how that's going to be, whether that's we create an app and expand the community, figure out how the fuck we're going to do that. But I see this.
First of all, organically, it's going through the industry now. I'm bumping into. I was working with a chef. I was telling you.
Yep.
And he was working with me as an agency chef.
Yep.
And he didn't know where he knew me from the first day we worked. It was at the end of the second day. He was like, "Pure OBG." I was like, "Yeah." He goes, "Chef it." Yeah. He goes, "I'm starting on fucking Monday." I was like, "Oh man, here we go."
Time. I had that a couple of times. I've had that a couple of times now. I've had that a lot. If I'm ever out in town in Dublin, like having a couple of drinks, I've had it said to me a lot of fucking times.
Yeah, when I'm in various fly fits and I have the chef it t-shirt, you have people looking for an extra couple of seconds as it say, "I know where that's from."
Your man, yeah. Spread.
I know where that t-shirt's from.
Message.
It is though, isn't it?
It's a fucking way of life.
Yeah.
It's a way of life, you know. It's the way.
Well, listen, on as far as taking the plunge, I'll say on behalf of the other 70 fucking people, thank you very much. Fair play to you. We're all delighted you did.
Fucking see you in church, pal. You know.
Yeah, man. Well, listen. Last question.
Bring it.
Where can we find this fantastic podcast?
You can find it on YouTube. You can find it on Podbean. You can find it on iTunes. If you're listening,
best bits on Instagram at the Chef It Project.
Yeah, you can follow us at Chef It Project. I'll post I post the podcast up there as well because Instagram TV lets me put longer clips in that bitch. So like that, thumbs up on YouTube if you're watching us there. Give us a good review on iTunes, please, if you are listening to us on that, or just subscribe and follow us on whatever platform you're listening to us or watching us on, and share it with whoever you can, you know.
And if you have any questions for episode 30 for me to ask Cam, let me know. Let me know in the comment section below, or if you're already in Chef It, just give me a text.
Yeah, you know it. You fucking know it. Anyway, with that in mind, that is episode number 20, the special edition. Watch out for the fucking Fox people. Peace.